So we're now just 7 episodes away from revealing the event that sits on the top of our list. What is this list? This is the list of 25 events that, in my eyes, changed Indian cricket. And now that we're inching closer to the top, you can be assured that we're going to talk about some glory days. We talked about one a few episodes ago, the T20 World Cup win in 2024. And today, we go 18 years back in time, where unlike 2024, there was zero anticipation, zero expectation, and hardly any preparation. And still, the end result not only gave Team India a win for the ages, but unleashed a new era in cricket that went on to change the complexion of the game. Yes, it's the 2007 World T20 win that sits at number 8 on our list. There are few better underdog stories in cricket than India's 1983 World Cup win. And somewhat at the other end of the spectrum sit India's 2 other World Cup wins, the one in 2011 and the other in 2024. Because on both occasions, India began as favourites, so there was a touch of inevitability to those wins. But the World T20 win of 2007, now that's an entirely different gravy. And that's what makes this such a special story. Because remember, in the months leading up to it, very few people even cared about the tournament. In fact, India didn't feel the need to play, but was outvoted and had to. Can you imagine? Now, India, remember, was still reeling from the group stage exit in the 50-over World Cup. That loss, though, came with its own set of lessons, and this lesson would go on to prove pivotal in India's success 6 months later in South Africa. The short-lived campaign in the Caribbean had given the team a direction. They needed to look at the next generation. And ahead of the inaugural World T20 tournament, the selectors did just that. It helped that several seniors of the team had made themselves unavailable for the tournament, and that paved the way for probably the most inspirational call taken by Indian selectors, who handed over the leadership of the group to a cricketer who had no prior captaincy experience in domestic cricket. How often does that happen? One wonders if it would have been the same story if the format was taken as seriously as it's taken now. I guess it helped that Tendulkar told the powers that be that the long-haired guy next to him at first slip was ready. And so 2007 was different. Everything was up in the air with regards to the tournament. Nobody had an idea of how it would pan out. The Australian team that had done a hat-trick of the 50-over format just a few months ago seemed to just turn up. A little earlier, they'd called T20 cricket a hit and a giggle. And to be fair, there wasn't a great sense of enthusiasm from the Indian board either, let alone Indian cricket fans who had hardly seen their stars play this format. And amidst all this, began the World T20 in South Africa. England, who'd introduced the format, looked set to gain from their first movers advantage. South Africa had the home advantage. West Indies had the power hitters. But India? They had a bunch of new names, along with another set of players trying to make a comeback. But after an abandoned first game against Scotland, the drama reached cinematic heights against Pakistan in Durban. While everyone remembers the bowl-out that India clinched comfortably, it was the second half of Pakistan's chase when India actually showed signs of things to come. Dhoni and his young team held their nerve and took the match into the last over, where frankly, it shouldn't have gone in the first place. But the net result of this dramatic ending to an India-Pakistan contest meant that suddenly there was a wave of interest in this team. And it went to the next level in less than a week. Yuvraj Singh, the man with an ability for doing special things and playing special knocks, did something that not only turned India's attention towards the tournament, but also the attention of the entire world. After all, it was only the second time in the history of international cricket that 6 deliveries of an over were deposited for 6 sixes. How could anyone look the other way? Then that innings against Australia. Yuvraj 2007 was just made for this T20 cricket. But honestly, unlike the 50-over World Cup in the Caribbean, such was the pace of this tournament that less than a week after Yuvraj's blockbuster shows, India were playing in a final And once again, it was against Pakistan. Just imagine. Could this tournament have asked for a bigger finale? And if the lineup wasn't exciting enough, the two teams, lighter by several superstars, dished out the perfect final where the pendulum kept swinging after almost every over to come to a point where it looked a game-set match for Pakistan. But then, the best Pakistani batter on the day made one mistake and 1 billion Indians erupted in joy and became lifelong subscribers to this new format. And mind you, the latter proved to be particularly important in determining the fate of the game. Just like the 1983 World Cup win resulted in an insatiable appetite for the shorter format in the country, 24 years later, the 2007 win did the same for T20 cricket. The instant success of the brand new Indian Premier League, which kicked off 6 months later, had a lot to do with this appetite generated by a famous win. And not to forget, the tournament transformed MS Dhoni from a captain leading a bunch of youngsters in a non-serious tournament to the captain who brought home the trophy after 24 years. Would Indian cricket have looked the same if MS Dhoni had failed in his first ever assignment as a leader? Well, I'm glad, and I'm sure 1 billion others are too, that he came back with a trophy and made that a habit in the next 6 years. And so a question on that T20 World Cup. There is only one instance of a player making his international debut in the final of a major ICC tournament. Tell me who that player was. So thanks for watching and do subscribe to this channel.